Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is 30 books in 30 minutes, gift giving edition. So we have all come up with a list of great books we want to share with you tonight. My name is Rebecca King. I'm the Early Literacy Services Supervisor, and I'm going to let my coworkers here introduce themselves. How about Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura Dacus. I'm the Lead Outreach Specialist.
And Susan?
I'm Susan Hollers, and I'm a Kids World Advisor.
And Emily?
And I'm Emily Morochak, and I'm a Youth Services Advisor, and so excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to get started. You guys ready?
Ready.
Just so everybody knows, we're going to be taking turns. We're going to be keeping time. We want to keep everybody on track. You know, your time is valuable. So this is our 30 books in 30 minutes. Oh, come on, slide. Now my button is not working. Hold on. There we go. Gift giving edition. All right. So let me get my timer going. And we're going to start. So the first book we want to share with you tonight, If You Go Down to the Woods Today, More Than 100 Things to Find. These are poems by Rachel Percy, and it's illustrated by Freya Hardis. What a beautifully illustrated, larger than usual picture book for any child that loves the great outdoors or forest critters. Each 2-page spread has a short poem such as Bear's Picnic or Rainy Day, or this one is about art class outside. And it's followed by a list of fun things to look for in the 2 pages. It might be hard to see, but here along the side, there's a list of things you can search for. It's kind of a Where's Waldo meets Mother Nature with so many things to look at. I can imagine exploring this book on all these pages with my 4-year-old granddaughter on my lap, searching for splashing bunnies or sleeping skunks. This would be a really fun one to give with a promise to explore together at a park or a nature center.
My first book is called Poem in My Pocket, and this is a great book for children at any age of literacy. It's great for learning letters, for kids who are just learning to read short words, or for children who are proficient readers and would get puns and jokes. And this is, I forgot to tell you, it's a book by Chris Tugis, and it's illustrated by Josie Bessalone. And Poem in My Pocket is the story of a young girl who carries a poem in her pocket, but there's a rip in her pocket and it causes all of the words to fall out. And chaos ensues. Each page, like the double spread that we'll show you, contains a different problem. There are scrambled letters, there are words scrambled together, and there are silly puns. She tries to put the poem back together, but she just can't. And then a storm brews up and it leads to a surprise ending.
My first book is Pete the Cat's Groovy Imagination by Kimberly and James Dean. Rainy days can sometimes ruin our plans, but not if you're Pete the Cat. He is ready to beat the rainy day blues. With a simple cardboard box, Pete is off on many adventures. His decorated box takes him to the moon, on an underwater dive, to the racetrack, and finally a rock and roll stage. This groovy book has rhyme, repetition, and the inspiration to always use your imagination. There is no better way to gift a child this book than by putting it in a large empty box filled with markers and stickers. Pete the Cat is a great character. Kids love him. He's got a lot of great books out there. This one was just especially good to me because of the way that he uses his imagination. And we all know that kids sometimes aren't really so in love with what's in the box, but with the box itself. So this is a perfect opportunity for them to really explore.
That's a great idea. I love that. Thanks, Laura.
I'm starting with Time for Kenny by Brian Pinkney. And this is about a 2-year-old boy having a relatable and hilarious day where he gets dressed and tries to put on his sister's shorts, his granddaddy's hat, his mother's shoe, where he tries to play soccer and ends up riding the ball, as you can tell. Of course, he avoids bedtime by playing with his school bus. It's just a fun, feel-good story that you can read to your toddlers. My 2-year-old loves this one. He always says, more Kenny, more Kenny. And we have to read it 100 times, which is fun though. And it could go along with a nice yellow school bus. What a good present. And then you could be like Kenny. Well, that could work out too. It's a fun read for the toddlers in your life.
Yay. Thanks, Emily. Okay, let me reset the timer for me. Hold on. Okay. Bunnyroo and the Duckling 2. So this is another great addition to a child's library. The picture book sweetly expresses the love a grown-up has for a little one. And this could be a parent-child, grandparent, child. It's reminiscent of If You Were My Bunny, if you remember that one. This updated version has larger illustrations and reminds us that wherever or whatever the child gets into throughout their day, that love will surely follow. There's our baby cheetah. When you saw the wide open field, you raced so fast, I thought you'd become a cheetah. So I ran with you to the garden. There's the grown-up following along. The variety of parent-child animals, they slither, climb, jump, and nibble away with a loving adult following along. The security a child needs, even when they test us or are having an especially hard time, is lovingly expressed with each animal and a mother figure at the very end. It all conveys that no matter what you do, I'll be there with you and I will love you. This could be the sweetest send-off to bedtime or a gentle way to wake up and start your day together.
This next book is Oona, and it's written by Kelly DiPuccio and illustrated by Raisa Figueroa. And Oona is a brave and curious mermaid with a best friend named Otto. And there's her little friend Otto, who is an otter, of course. She loves to explore the seabed and has found all sorts of treasures. One item that she especially wants but can't reach is a sparkly gold crown. Oona's ready to give up, which is something that mermaids don't often do. But her special goggles help her reach the crown, and they change her mind about what she treasures, because in the end, it's not the crown, but the goggles that she's most excited about. If you know a child that likes to collect things, likes to take things apart and put them back together in different ways, this is a book about a mermaid that loves those things too. And this is Oona.
My next book is Bear Can't Wait by Karma Wilson, illustrated by Jane Chapman. As a fan of these bear stories, I can tell you it sure was hard to wait for the newest one. Waiting is hard, no matter what our age. It's hard for all of us, and in this story, it's especially hard for Bear. There's a party tonight, and all the fussing and planning sure is making Bear impatient. I love this picture of him he's upside down. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He cannot wait for this party, and all of his friends are working. But Bear has great friends who are always there to help. And that's what's great about all of these bear stories. They're just great friends, always helping each other. And especially tonight with the big party coming. The rhythm and rhyme make all of these bear books great read alouds, great for story time.
My next title is a wordless picture book, The Midnight Fair. As you can see by the cover, we have our foxes and outside animals taking over the fair at night. And it's written by Gideon Sturer and illustrated by Maria Chiara di Giorgio. I probably said that wrong. Apologies. And it's just such a beautiful wordless picture book. It's always so fun to imagine what happens places at night. And the fair is just no exception. You see here, we have the animals riding the swings. And I really like wordless picture books in general because they're good for kids of all ages. There's so much to point at and talk about and see what is happening. And if it's a younger kid, you can describe it for them. And if it's an older one, they're able to see what they notice. These animals are just hilarious. And then seeing it the next day when the fair workers just don't even know what had happened because they had left the evidence behind them. It's just such a fun and lighthearted with really well done illustrations. A great book for all ages.
Thanks, Emily. I love wordless picture books because I feel like every time you read it, it's a different story. That's what I like about them. They're kind of fun. Okay, I have Real Superheroes. See, I always forget to start the timer on me. A Celebration of Essential Workers. This is by Julia Seal. Now, we know a lot of kids have Marvel superheroes as a hero or idol. They know them from the movies they see. But what about the real superheroes that live among us? Maybe even in your own home? I think these superheroes are much more relatable. Firefighters, doctors, retail workers, teachers, and the list goes on. Anyone that is out there working to help or serve others can be called a hero at one point or another. The illustrations are vibrant and colorful, often filling the whole page. And I think kids will see themselves in many of them. I think my kids dressed up at one time or another as most of these characters, as a doctor or the firefighter. I think a bin of dress-up clothes would be an excellent pairing with this book as a gift, or a trip to a fire station or post office or construction site. I know there's construction right now on Euclid down near the racetrack. That's always fun to check out, but that's Real Superheroes.
My next book is Little Green Donkey. It's by Anuska Elapuz. And if you know a child who's a picky eater, this is the book for them. This is the story of little donkey who only likes to eat grass, nothing else. And his mom tries to convince him that there are other foods that he should eat, but nope, it's only grass. So one day, as you see in this illustration, he looks in the water and he sees that he has turned green from eating all this grass. So he decides to try other foods. And as you go through the book, there are different foods that he tries and he just doesn't like them until he finds carrots. And then all he'll eat are carrots. And can you imagine what happens to him then when he's only eating orange food? I love the illustrations in this book. They're very simple, but just show great expression on his face. It would be a great story even for the youngest child.
My next book is All Are Welcome by Alexandra Penfold, illustrated by Suzanne Kaufman. The title really says it all. All are welcome here. Whether it's in the classroom, the lunchroom, or even on the playground, everyone is welcomed with open arms. This book celebrates diversity with age-appropriate, reassuring text. The illustrations are just wonderful. Students learning together while also sharing their family's traditions. The rhyming text and repetitive phrase, all are welcome here, send a positive message throughout. Although a great gift for young students, it would also be a welcome addition to any teacher's classroom library.
This is great because we know how important it is for kids to see themselves reflected back on the pages they're looking at. So I love this one. This is a
they share food, holidays, traditions, all kinds of things that maybe their classmates may not know about, and sharing it makes them feel good.
I think mine complements Laura's very well if anyone wants to do a twofer book. Mine is Hey, My Name is Girl, and it is a song celebrating girls from all across the world, Argentina to Zambia. And it starts with, Hey, my name is Alba. My sister's name is Aline. We come from Argentina and we're adventurous. And on this page, we have Rosa and her mother's name is Renata. And they come from Russia and are radiant. So it's a fun ABC book, alliteration, but also really fun pictures that take you into scenes from countries all around the world and just empowering, showing that there's strong girls with strong friends everywhere. And it's just fun and exciting and really good for a girl in your life. And I think the ABC element, but also the detailed countries and pictures means it can go for an older or a younger girl. You can really go across the age range. And you can give it to a boy too, but they might feel a little left out.
All right. 100 Things I Know How to Do by Amy Schwartz. This is such a fun book to share. Oh my gosh. I think it'd be fun to give it with removable stickers that, and you can promise to go through this list of things with your little person and put the sticker next to the thing that as they master it, like building boats. zipping coats, wave wands. And the last one, it's hard to see. I think it's that full page is explore ponds. It could be a checklist of things that you're going to do together. And then you put a little sticker next to them as you do them. There's lots of everyday activities and others that might take a little planning, like building boats. You might have to plan that a little bit. Some things will be checked off immediately, like hug tight or run outside. And making plans together to do these things, I think, would be half the fun. The text is very brief. As you can see, the illustrations are simple but relatable. And the author shows a variety of kids doing all the things. What else can your little person do that isn't listed in this book of 100 things? I think that might be fun to come up with another book, another list of things they can do that isn't already in the book.
Equal.
My next book is called Listen, and it is by Gabby Snyder, and it's illustrated by Stephanie Reagan. This is a book that would be perfect for a child who is quiet, who maybe does more listening than talking. Would also be good for a child who is the opposite, does more talking than listening, and really anyone in between. This is the story of when you step outside, it's easy to black out all of the noise around you. But if you stop for a minute and you close your eyes, it's safe to do that, and you listen, and that's what this little girl in the book does. She hears all the individual noises that make up the background of her life. And the book also advises that you should listen for the silence. As you go on in the book, you see a little girl who apparently people have not been very nice to, and she sits very quietly. So it reminds us to watch for those silences too, and to maybe reach out to children who are not making a whole lot of noise. Just a very sweet and gentle book. I really loved it.
My next book is How to Be Cooler Than Cool by Sean Taylor, illustrated by Jean Julian. I mean, look at the cover of this. This is what made me grab it. Animals wearing sunglasses, their arms folded, trying so hard to look cool. Will a pair of sunglasses make you cool? These animals sure think so. Soon enough, each animal realizes that you don't need sunglasses or anything else to be cool. Coolness comes from the inside. And making good choices is really what makes you cool in the end. This silly story with bold graphics can be read over and over again with lots of giggles. Throw in a pair of sunglasses for fun with this gift book and have fun with all the animal sounds and expressions. I love this pig saying, yeah, baby. And I love how his friends are kind of looking at him like, yeah, you're not cool. But just really a cute, cute story. On one of the other pages too, the sunglasses end up on the pig's bottom side on his tail. Yeah, they're all just passing the sunglasses around, trying to be cool.
Look at that. Look at that. We're already halfway done, everybody. That's 15 books so far. I hope you're enjoying them. Next up, we've got another one. Where are we? Oh, Emily, your turn.
Okay, I'm ready. I want to buy all 15 already. Great for my budget. Mine is about my favorite food, pizza with everything on it. This is when a boy and his dad decide to make a pizza and they ask him the toppings. It starts a little normal, you know, pepperoni, tomatoes, mushrooms, and then he keeps going and going. A bag of chips, an entire turkey, a rolling pin, getting weird. And then they move on to a doghouse, a tree house, and even the White House. Who would eat a pizza with the on it? It gets crazy. So it gets so crazy that they end up getting sucked up into a pizza black hole. Very, very intense. So I don't know if I quite that far, but it is a really fun book for anyone that just likes ridiculous or pizza. A good one for the kids reading a book. And of course, it makes you hungry. It makes me hungry right now. So it could go with a rolling pin or any type of build a pizza present. So super fun read.
Right, that does make me a little bit hungry. Thanks. My Tiny Life. And it says on the cover by Ruby T. Hummingbird. What a convenient name for this book that's about hummingbirds, right? So I love inspiring a hobby or passion in the lives of different kids I know. If the first gift book doesn't do it, I keep trying to find the perfect one. I love the possibility of this one influencing a little bird watcher. Hummingbirds are amazing to observe, especially to kids, because they are such tiny powerhouses. It's difficult to imagine how they fly at all because they're about the size of your thumb. They really are. It doesn't take too much to attract a hummingbird to your yard. With a few packets of flower seeds natural to your area or zone, a hummingbird feeder with red food coloring to attract them. And I've learned you have to make sure it's easy to dismantle and easy to clean. I've learned the hard way. And this book would be part of the gift package. It might be fun to get at least 2 feeders, one for the child's house and one for yours, you the gift giver, and compare visits from these lightning fast birds. There's a wealth of great info at the end of the book, including a brief glossary, a list of websites to visit, and more fun facts about this tiny and amazing bird. And at the end of this one, as in most books with a cover, and maybe some of our pictures are hiding it, there's the author's little bio we see in a lot of books. And it's a good time it's fun to read that, whether it's the author or author and illustrator. When your little one has the attention span for it, read this part, because learning that there are actual people behind the books that they enjoy can spark further discussion. So this author is Paul Meisel, or Meisel, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but he wanted to make it Ruby T. Hummingbird on the cover, I believe. So kudos to Paul for sharing the credit with the hummingbird. And that's the actual size. These pictures in this book are the actual size. I didn't know their nests were that small, next to a quarter. I was shocked when I found that out. So this would be a great book to share. And I went way over time. Sorry, guys.
Okay, the next book is called The Lost Package. And as soon as I looked at this book, I thought of all the Instagram videos I have been seeing lately of kids waiting for the Amazon driver or the FedEx driver or the UPS driver to come to their house and drop off packages, because we have just been ordering online like crazy. And this book looks at how a package goes from A to B, or in this case, what happens to a package when it gets lost along the way. It starts with a little girl who's packing a box with great care, but somehow it falls off the delivery truck. A kind boy and his grown-up find the package, and they go to great lengths to get it to the rightful owner. This 2-page spread shows a processing plant where the packages are brought in and sorted and put it onto the different trucks. And there are other pictures in the book that show the process of what happens to a package as it goes along the way. So to be perfect for anyone who's fascinated with how the packages get to their house.
I love this 2-page spread. You really get an idea of how vast this place is, don't you? You really kind of get the sense of, wow, that's a big place with a lot of packages.
Okay, my next book is Whole Whale by Karen Yin and illustrated by Nelke Verhoff. I bet we have all felt left out from time to time. No matter your age or species, it never feels good. In this story, blue whale is large, very large, but that's no reason to be left out. The other animals know exactly what to do. There are a lot of animals in this book. They have a plan, and when they work together, they show blue whale the biggest kind of love. With rhyme, colorful pictures, and 100 animals, there's so much to see each time you read. And you can see on this 2-page spread, they're working so hard, squishing together to make room to fit blue whale in on the page. This would be great with a whale stuffed animal along with the book, or maybe the child's favorite animal, stuffed animal. You can just read it over and over again, pointing out the animals, making animal sounds. It just shows real teamwork.
This might be the favorite one I have on my list, and I'm not even a cat person, but I'm a book person. And this one is called Rectangle Time by Pamela Paul and Becky Cameron. And it is a story from the cat's perspective about time that he thinks is really fun and a special time for petting him. And it's called Rectangle Time. It's usually done before bed with his grown-up and the son. And then as the boy gets older, rectangle time starts changing, and it's kind of harder for the cat to snuggle in there, and the boy holds the rectangle and the cat tries to figure out what to do, and then he finally comes to different solutions that he can make the rectangle a very nice chair or a throne. So it's such a funny book, so relatable for all of the cat lovers and non-cat lovers too. And obviously it can be a Christmas present with a new cat. Perfect.
Okay, we've got Hello Earth, Poems to Our Planets. This is by Joyce Sidman, illustrated by Mirren Eslaine Laura. So do you know a budding earth scientist in your family? Or how about a marine biologist, maybe an astronaut? The poems in this beautifully illustrated book feel like a conversation between people who love the earth and all the beautiful magical things about her. Big and small, this one here addresses how hard it is to understand how big you are, bigger than a mountain or the sky or anything we have seen or felt or touched. It's such a great opening to a conversation on what the earth does or gives to us and what we can do or give back, which is not something children think about on their own since they start out pretty egocentric. This is a beautiful way to introduce poetry to a child, as each poem feels like a short story and avoids the everything must rhyme type of poetry, which is more difficult for children with a smaller vocabulary. There's a significant number of resources at the back of the book, including how the earth works, ways kids can help, and a reading list that you can explore together.
This is Avocado asks, who am I? And I have to admit that when I saw that little face on the cover, it just captured my heart, and that was it. So this is a book by Momoko Abe. And Avocado has an identity crisis. He hears a little girl at the grocery store ask her mom if avocados are fruits or vegetables. And her mom said, I don't know, we'll look it up when we get home. And so Avocado starts to think, what am I? Am I a fruit or am I a vegetable? And so throughout the book, he travels through the grocery store and he tries to fit in different departments, but he keeps getting kicked out because he's not a fish or he's not eggs. And so finally he meets Tomato, and Tomato said, you know, I have the same problem. Am I a fruit or a vegetable? But finally I thought about all the things that are made with me, like spaghetti sauce and ketchup. And I realized how important I am. And it doesn't matter if I'm a fruit or a vegetable. I contribute to the world. And that's how Avocado sees himself from then on. Just a great little book teaching that you don't have to be exactly the same to fit in.
My next book is Dear Librarian by Lydia Sigwart, illustrated by Romina Velada. This is, I hope I can just do this one justice, because it's a beautiful, heartwarming, true story. Being a librarian was always Lydia's dream job since she was a child. When she was young, she thought of the library as a magical place that made her feel cozy and safe when her family was going through a hard time. They were homeless for a while, and although they did have family that took them in, it never really felt truly like her own home. And she really found a wonderful place in the library with a special librarian. She was a friend and someone special that inspired her. Lydia still goes to the library every day, but as a grown-up, because now she is the librarian. And there she is, inspiring others, helping them to see what a magical place the library was. I mean, this is just a great gift for a librarian. I just felt like I wanted to hug this book at the end. I love that it was a true story. And we all hope that kids find it to be a magical place. And if you're here a long time, like I've been, you actually do see kids grow up. So it's amazing to see kids come to story time, and then just like that, they're teen volunteers. I mean, I've seen it. It's amazing. So it was really a heartwarming book.
This one definitely put a lump in my throat, but in a good way. It was great.
Yeah, she put a little sticky note on it that said, I just cried or something like that. That was you, right, Brooke?
Yeah, that was for me. I'm not crying. I'm not crying.
Oh, I'm not crying. That's what you wrote.
I'll give it to my 2-year-old and then I can get him to become a librarian.
There you go.
He is putting on a program on apples right now, so it all works. And my next story is called The Nice Dream Truck by Beth Perry and Bridget Berriger. And not to be confused with an cream truck or with bad dreams. And there aren't visions of sugar plum. Beautiful illustrations of the type of dreams that can come that really are all empowering. If you have a kid that's having a bad dream or doesn't want to go to bed, it can kind of show all the different varieties. A dream about a girl with stars in her eyes, and dreams from narwhals to double birthdays to sea monsters. Amazing food. I want to eat all of it. And it really shows the magical powers of dreams and how, yes, it can be scary, but it can be fun and it can be an adventure. And this can go with a nice new pillow, and maybe it can make your kid actually go to bed. You can dream, right? That would be my dream. No. Really fun.
The Eyeball Alphabet book. Can't get enough alphabet books, and they're always fun. This one's by Jerry Pilata and Shannon Bersani. It's safe to assume we're going to cover a whole alphabet here, right? From A to Z. You can also assume you'll know many of the creatures the various eyeballs belong to, but assumptions stop there. You'll probably think you're looking at colorized photos. You're not. These are lifelike, detailed drawings and are amazing works of art that you can get lost in. There we go. We get to see eyeballs from so many different angles and a few animals or insects that might be new to you. There was one or two I'd never heard of. Author Pilata doesn't stop there. He also includes idioms on every page, different expressions that mean something other than what it actually says, like keep your eye on the ball or get some shut eye. He first lists the idioms and then provides a simple, child-friendly explanation of what that actually means. I think this is a great learning tool for anyone, but might be especially useful for those who where English is their second language, because those idioms that we become familiar with, people who are learning English may not understand what these idioms are. So it's a great alphabet book. It's a great picture book, and the idioms just take it over the top for me.
Percy's Museum is by Sarah O'Leary and Carmen Mock, and it would be a great book for any child who is anticipating moving or any other big change in their life. Percy moves to a new house, and the move is especially difficult because he moved from an urban area, which was very busy and had many things to do, to a rural area. And at first, he has no idea what to do with himself. But as he begins to explore what's around him, for instance, the pond in this picture, he learns that there are many, many things going on in this rural area, just as many as in the urban area. And what he decides to do is to make a museum. So he mounts flowers and leaves and sticks and rocks and things he finds around his house. And then he invites all of his new friends over to come and see his museum, his way of meeting new people in his new environment.
This next book is Sloth and Squirrel in a Pickle by Kathy Neely and Kelly Collier. Sloth and Squirrel may be unlikely friends, but that doesn't matter. This story is a perfect example of teamwork. With a goal of buying a bite together, these friends set out to earn some money. Their pickle packing job puts them into, well, a pickle. I love the picture of Sloth hanging there, not liking the pickle packing job. But thinking outside the box sets them in the right direction and on their way to an even more adventurous bike ride. It's a delightful story and may leave readers wanting to learn even more about sloths and pickle tasting. So, yeah, they don't do very well at this pickle packing job, but they do work together to get it all figured out. It's just really a silly, silly story. And I don't know, maybe a reader wouldn't know that much about sloths. Might inspire you to also some nonfiction books about sloths to learn about them. But they're just very silly friends who work together and they do get a surprise bite at the end.
Would this be a true presentation about children's books if we didn't have a poop potty humor book? So my one is a fun one this year called The Poop Song by Eric Litwin, the author of Pete the Cat. Pete moves. No, there's no Pete in this book. Sorry.
He's got enough books of his own.
It's a really fun, catchy song that's going to get totally stuck in your head. Talking about all the different animals and how everyone poops, and it's such a common thing. And you can even download the song and listen to it over and over. Talk about the happy sound you hear, flush, and you get to shout poop all the time. So obviously this should be a total crowd pleaser for those school age kids. And also can be pretty fun for those learning how to go potty. My son was definitely into that, and now he sings it when we go potty, which is definitely an experience. So a fun, humorous book. And hey, there's those emoji poop pillows you can get. That could be a good present to go with it. Or a practice potty if we want to stay serious. But definitely just so much fun.
One Asaurus, Two Asaurus. This is by Kim Norman, and it's illustrated by Pierre Colette Derby. Who doesn't love a good dinosaur picture book? This one is a blast to read out loud with lots of fun sounds to make, like roar, rumble, rattle, quick skedaddle. We can be loud and quiet, which is a great contrasting skill to practice with kids of all ages. The drawings in One Asaurus, Two Asaurus are close enough to the real thing that your dino-loving little will easily recognize which ones are the T-Rex and the Triceratops and all the others. The font or letter size gives great clues when to be loud, like with the roar page we saw, and when to be quiet, like this page here. As you move through this dinosaur counting and rhyming book, those are the clues that help you. I know plenty of kids who would love getting this book and maybe a bin of dinosaurs and a bucket of rocks or artificial greenery that they can use to create just the right dinosaur environment. That's One Asaurus, Two Asaurus. And everybody, friends, we are on to number 30. Take it away, Emily.
Last but not least, I'm a hare, so there. And maybe you have that kid in there have the last word or wants to make sure that every detail is correct. This book is for them. A chipmunk accidentally mistakes a hare for a rabbit. No, and he puts it in his place, as you see. No Flopsy, no Mopsy, no Cottontail. I'm a hare. But it turns out the chipmunk isn't a squirrel. Oh my goodness. And then we get sheep and goats confused and turtles and tortoises. It's just a disaster, but really helps you think about making sure names are correct, and just a fun read about words and animals, and definitely cool for that school age kid, and it can go along with different animals, and a really good read.
Thanks, Emily. And that is it. That is 30 books in 30 minutes, more or less. Thank you, ladies. It was fun. I know we had a lot of fun picking out these books and not repeating them, fighting over who got to talk about certain ones, but there are 30 different titles. We hope you guys enjoyed listening to them all. These are our gift giving suggestions for 2021.
Thanks so much for being here, everyone.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Good night.